Welcome to Around the Kinky Campfire. Grab a seat, pour a drink, and let's turn up the heat. This is the podcast where we explore the wild, wonderful, and sometimes wicked world of kink, BDSM, and alternative lifestyles. Whether you're a seasoned player, a curious newbie, or just here for the stories, we've got something for you. Join us on Thursdays on your favorite podcast platform as we share experiences, dive into deep discussions, and may even spark a little fire of your own. No shame, no judgment, just real talk around the kinky campfire. Let's get lit. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Around the Kinky Campfire. This is your host, the Julius Marquise, or just Julius. I am feeling jovial today. Jovial Julius. Ooh, alliteration. Let's do that. Just decided that right now. Okay, so I have another episode here for you, and I'm going to dive right into it. Per the usual, we have our ASMR. 1 second. It's an ASMR. That's the usual part. The time, it varies depending on how cold the drink is. And right now, this drink is pretty cold. And it is a regular beverage, okay, for all the different things, just to let y'all know. And we have, once again, not sponsored, the Sparkling Ice Caffeine, one of the staples that we have here. Would love to get a sponsor from this, but this is Blue Raspberry Sparkling Ice, which is absolutely lovely. Let's just go ahead and get started with the ASMR. In 5 seconds. Let's go over 5 seconds, shall we? Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, man. I don't even know how long that was, but almost choked. So that time wasn't even the cold. It was the choking. It's always the choking. Just not try to take it straight to the back of the throat. It's not good when you do that. Gotta warm up the gotta warm up the throat glands. Okay. Anyways, as we're getting distracted here, we'll get back to the topic. So, today's topic is called the sex education you wish you had, mostly focused around kink, okay? Julius is going to have a little health teacher time with you. I'm going to teach you about the kink parts of sex education that I don't know about y'all, but I definitely wish I had when I was growing up. I was like, oh, this is a word. This is a thing we can do. Well, guess what? Julius has got it here for you. Okay, so I'm going to explain how it goes, of course, within the time limit that I have. Once again, I have a lot of notes, have some articles that I will put in the description. Hopefully everything, all the episodes and stuff will be posted at the right times and places. We were going to cross our fingers and hope that, and then these descriptions will be these links will be in the descriptions, the source material. Okay, first of all, let us start with the basics. Once again, we are going to explain what kink and definition is and the fetish definition. Okay, here we go. Kink, broadly defined as an unconventional, non-traditional, or alternative sexual interest, fantasy, or practice. It essentially refers to any desire or activity outside the realm of mainstream or vanilla sex, okay? Anything that turns you on, there is an arousal, but not directly having to be sex, okay? Does not need to be the outcome. That is what is considered a kink. Now, fetish is psychological or sexual fixation on an object, body part, or non-sexual activity required for arousal. Required for arousal, thus leading to the sex. But yeah, not necessarily having to do with sex. It does lead to it. It is requirement. There are things like another living, breathing, legal human I require to get aroused. Crazy that you have to say that right now, that we are in this day and age of this time in the world we live in this great nation, you have to say legal and breathing. Oh, so bad. Okay. While kink is a broad preference for non-normative intimate behavior, a fetish is strictly necessary for that person to achieve sexual arousal or orgasm. Yep. Stimulation of the genitals. That's another fetish of mine, which is great. Yep, totally. Okay, so we got the basics we got those two, the main basics that we've talked about. These other ones, I don't know if one of them, but play is the next one. Refers to all activities that occur within a scene. That's specifically in the BDSM/kink space, which is very interesting because I do a little improv and they do a little playing as well, and that is not what they're talking about. No beating of people literally in a improv scene, usually. Most of the time it's no. So that part is interesting. Those worlds align. One of these days I'm going to do an episode of a Venn diagram of all the words and definition. No. The words that are related, that happen in both worlds. It's very funny. Once again, when I'm sitting in class laughing to myself because we're saying stuff like play and scene. It's like that means something else to certain people. Okay. And then we have BDSM. Of course, we've explained what that one is. Bondage, discipline, sadomasochism, and then also dominant submission. Subsets of kink that center around power exchange and plain play. So mostly the dynamics, authority exchange that happens around the kink stuff. So it's very more particular type deal when we're talking about BDSM. That's more, the rules and the guidelines that you negotiate with your partners. Okay? Kink scene. Another word that means two different things, and depending on what community you're in. Planned kink dynamic or activity in which sexual activity may or may not happen. Refer to scenes as play sessions. I do like me a good play session with a partner. I tell you what, you talking about play sessions with people that don't know exactly what you're talking about. That is a interesting reaction on those people's faces. But it always makes me chuckle. I like it so much. Okay. Here we go. Kink dynamic, play relationship between play partners during a scene. So we were talking about specifically a kink dynamic versus just a regular dynamic, which is usually where roles are involved. And there's some kind of negotiation, not necessarily a contract that is involved with partners who are all consenting and approve or cool with the rules that you have set forth in that specific dynamic. But that is a the type of relationship. The kink dynamic specifically, we're talking about the scene or the play session. Yep. Okay. And then soft limit dynamic or activity that someone typically is not willing to engage in but may consent to during under specific negotiated circumstances. So basically, that is an activity that you do. For me, one thing, as an example, would be anal. I don't necessarily do that with everybody. Whether in a scene, a kink scene, or just a regular old sex scene, that's not something I do with every partner. Relationship and or dynamic is as well. It's not necessarily something I do. But if it's negotiated and consented, terms agreed, and I don't want to say signed away because that seems way too formal. Put your blood mark on the pact or whatever. If you're summoning a demon, sometimes you want a demon. Definitely one of those words that means different things to different people. But sometimes you want to summon a demon because they do funny stuff to your business. But yeah, so that's one of those things for me is anal. I don't do that with everybody, but certain people, if they're enthusiastic about it, we can have a discussion. So yeah, those are what soft limits are. Hard limits are the definite no-nos. Dynamic or activity that someone is not willing to engage in under any circumstance. For me, that is intentional, like blood play, animals, scat, water sports, that kind of stuff. So. All right, Capsters, before we get back to tonight's stories that probably shouldn't be played out loud at work, let's take a second to talk about today's sponsor, which could be you. Look, if you're listening to Around the Kinky Campfire, you're clearly not here for vanilla. You're here for the weird conversations, the spicy confessions, and the kind of stories that make you double-check who's sitting next to you. And that's exactly why today's sponsor fits right in. Whether you're setting the mood, exploring something new, or just trying to turn an ordinary night into something a little more memorable, today's sponsor, which could be you, is here to help make it happen. No judgment, no awkward vibes, just good times and maybe a few decisions you'll be laughing about later. Ha ha! Because let's be honest, sometimes you don't want predictable. Sometimes you want a little tension, a little excitement, maybe even something that makes you say, well, that escalated quickly. And hey, we're not here to judge. No, no, no. Around this campfire, we support curiosity, good stories, and anything that makes life a little more interesting. So go check out today's sponsor, WCBY. Show them some love and help this campfire keep burning, because the more support we get, the more spicy conversations we can bring to you. All right, now where were we? Oh yeah, things were just heating up. That's a very no list. That is a hard no list. So we will avoid those activities and dynamics whatsoever. Okay. Play partner, persons with whom one is engaging in a kink scene. Sometimes, of course, there's always like Venn diagrams here and crossovers. Play partners could be a romantic partner or a dynamic partner. Could be in a dynamic. So, it could just be strictly a play partner. I know for me, play partners are usually partners I play with in public and not necessarily, I would say generally in public, can be in private as well, but I do not do sexual activities. So that is including just grazing of the genitals. We just stay away from those areas. We stick to the back of the mid area, not necessarily the top of it, or at least there's some clothing that is on as well. So complete nudity is not a thing I do with play partners either, but to each their own. Also used as relationship label for someone a person is engaging in kink with on an ongoing basis, but may not be dating. Whatever that means to you may or may not include sexual activity. Like for my instance, a top term for the person who is in control of the scene and or activity. I will say, if you read this article, some of these definitions were changed by moi, just to make them a little bit more updated, I'll just say, in my opinion. So top and bottom, we know that our actions, not necessarily a particular label. So top is somebody that's in control. Bottom is the one relinquishing control in a scene. But of course, that is an umbrella. Those are two umbrella terms because those are actions, not necessarily just a label or a role that somebody is doing. It is the taking control or giving up control positions. Okay. Dominant. BDSM specific umbrella for the persons who wields control and steers the dynamic. Can be dom or dame, depending on your gender representation. Although I would argue, let's just do non-binary with everything. Why does it need to be two different things? Just put dominant for everything. And then submissive, just like submissive. You don't say sub-a. Okay. A submissive-o. BDSM specific umbrella for the person who surrenders control within the dynamic. And then it goes by sub as well. So it's like, why are we doing gender specific terms for the dominant? Weird. Intimate partner, anybody you're emotionally vulnerable with. For me, it's definitely proximity. I wouldn't be cuddling somebody that is not an intimate partner, whether I'm in a dynamic with them or not. That's just probably something I wouldn't do. Intimate, physical closeness equals intimacy as far as I'm concerned. So you should explore that for yourself. I know I've had to test that out. Is a word. I've had to try that out, see how it feels to me. And I'm like, after all these years of being in the kink community, this is something I've realized with myself is the physical intimacy as well as emotional vulnerability is something that ties in with an intimate partner specifically. I will say that. Okay, vanilla, pejorative adjective for non-kinky sex or non-kinky person. What is vanilla nowadays? Like, if you want to go with the technical definition that they have, it's like missionary position with only your genitals touching. That's what's vanilla nowadays. If anything else is touching besides your genitals, that is not vanilla sex. So take that as you will. Safe word, pre-negotiated word that when uttered communicates when someone's limits are being approached, can possibly end the scene. You should discuss that. Most of the times people just have the one safe word, but for those of us in the Central Florida area, I would say most areas, not tested, I'm just assuming, that the stoplight system is in effect. So those are 3 different safe words that you can use, mean different things. As we know, green means go, just like when you're in traffic, the stoplights. Yellow means, hey, hold on, might have to stop. Let's do a little check-in, and red, of course, means stop. Everything. So you have 3 different levels to go with there. When you're talking, especially with somebody that's more experienced with the safe words and kink play, you should definitely check in and make different words for yourself. I know for me, just the stoplight says I've been using it for so long, they're in my subconscious now. So if I hear those words, then I don't care what I'm doing. I definitely will perk up. I'm like, what am I doing right now? I have to check with myself. Am I doing kinky things to people? Oh, that's somebody else talking about their favorite color or something like that. But yeah, and then some people just have just one safe word where it's just like everything stops. I will say safe words and let's see here. Soft limits. There's some of these that cross over into the quote unquote vanilla world. Like, if you're being annoying or talking too much in general, can I have a safe word for that? So you just stop. That'd be great. I need a live mute button. Just hit the mute button. Get this person to stop talking my ear off about randomness that I don't care about. Anyways, aftercare. Pre-negotiated care that occurs after a scene is done. Let's see here. Care can include drinking water, cuddling, reassurance, bath, eating food. So all those are different examples of aftercare. Coconut water, pudding cup. Those kind of things. So snacky. Some people have blankies that they need. I will say that aftercare, the person in the article, I do remember this when I was taking my notes, say the person that is the top in the scene should be doing it. That is not always the case. There are multiple times, especially in a public place, where somebody will have an aftercare partner, so it will not necessarily be the top in the scene that is doing the aftercare, but you should definitely negotiate that ahead of time. If that person is not a partner of the person or like a romantic partner of the person, when I'm talking about that person, I'm talking the top may not necessarily be that person's romantic partner or intimate partner, then if that romantic partner is there, they can administer the aftercare while the play partner or just, I don't know, pick up play partner. So I will say the difference between play partner and pick up play partner is the pick up play partner might be temporary for that day or night, whereas a play partner is usually an ongoing thing. And a lot of the times, from my experience, that will not necessarily be the one giving the aftercare. So just a note for if you do check out the article, the author does say that. There is a difference there, especially if you've had experience in a public space before, which is interesting to see. I myself prefer not to do that. If I'm topping somebody, then I feel like aftercare should be given. But for me in general, I only top my partners, romantic partners, independent partners, whatever you have to say. We do the sex things too. So there's that. I will say that is a thing that happens. Okay, so I'm thinking about all the different situations that has varied, but in general, that is for me. I prefer to do the aftercare if I am topping somebody in a scene. Okay, we have completed the definitions, and we only have half our time left, which is hilarious. Okay, we'll try to get through the next few points. That was 1 point out of 6. We are a fifth of the way done with half our time. Okay, let me stop lollygagging here. Point number 2. The contemporary framework for safety protocols engaging is now RAC, but there are a lot of different acronyms. So PRIC is another one. Flick is another one, but we'll talk about RAC because it's definitely one of my favorites and one of the ones that the author here brought up. That stands for Risk-Aware Consensual Kink. The key word there is consensual. You are informed of the risk you are taking, which makes you aware of that, and then you consent to it. So risk-aware, you're aware of the risk, and you consent to it, which does entail kink. So it's risk-aware kink that you are consenting to. Being well-informed about the potential risk and benefits to all domains of well-being, mental, physical, social, financial. Yeah, there's FinDoms out there. Is crucial to one's ability to give and receive kink. One is expected to do research. Ooh, quotes, expected. If you are saying you are risk-aware, that is definitely an expectation that you have done your research. Ooh, and I know for me, which is highly debatable, but I will test people that I'm doing the stuff with. You better know the terms and definitions of what you are asking for. Nothing worse to me, in my opinion, than somebody's, you can just do whatever you want. It's like, bring out the nipple golf clubs. We're stringing people up. Ooh, that sounds terrible. We're tying people up by their toenails. Like, what are you... Nipple suspension is a thing. Like, whatever you want? No. Do your research. I'm 100% being judgy of people that don't do their research right now. This is ridiculous. What are we doing right now? Okay. Oh, we made it to point number 3. Consent is ever fluctuating and always revocable. Don't you wish you had a sex education teacher / health teacher teaching you these things when you were in high school? It's like, before I go out into the world and get my jollies off, I would have loved to know what these terms and acronyms and words were. Consent? Consent? I am a millennial. I'm an early millennial. Damn near Generation X. I didn't know what consent was when I was growing up. I didn't learn about it until I was like 20, almost 30, really. Consent. Huh. Boy, you better be glad you got people like, Dr. Julius here, researcher, Professor Julius here to teach you these kind of things. Oh my good Lord. Okay, consent is ever fluctuating, always revocable. Always revocable. Let's just say that again. Always revocable. You can do it. Goddamn, you're like 80% done with the scene. You can revoke consent. Oh boy. Oh yeah. Okay. That's a hotly. Oh man, that's a hot topic. I just want anybody to know that is new to kink. If anybody tells you you can't have consent or you can't have safe words or something, do not do anything with that person. Leave immediately. Pull the eject button. Jump out of the airplane right then and there. One must check in with one's partners throughout any kink scene and negotiations. Consent is revocable. One way to do so is through negotiating safe words, which can be used at all times. The stoplight system we talked about before, and I talked about what they were. It's important to negotiate with play partners what each color means within each dynamic or scene. Once again, that is like the blanket umbrella term, play partners. So if your play partner is just your play partner, or if your play partner is any other type of partner, dynamic, romantic, whatever it is, it still counts. For that particular session, they are play partner, and you should negotiate what's going on. Even if you're talking about consensual non-consent, which somebody had an episode about. You should go check that out. There's still safe words in C&C. If the bottom or submissive cannot verbalize during a scene, negotiate a non-verbal safe word. Oh, those are good. Good old sensory deprivation. Or you just have a gag in your mouth. You can't really speak words, even if they're like 3 letters. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a gag in the mouth, but their mouth is, in that instance, occupied. Let's just say that. That's something that happens. Let's just say their mouth is, at that time, occupied. Some people like to hold like a tennis ball, so if you need to say a safe word, but you can't, then you can drop a tennis ball or a racquetball or something. That way you know, maybe I should do a little check-in. And then also just doing this with your hands, if your hands are free. If your hands are free and your mouth is occupied, then you can start wiggling your toes. I would just have something, if you can't hold on to a ball, something that falls off or makes a noise. That's always great. That way the top in the scene knows that is do a check-in at that point in time. I would say for me, for the most part, mouth free is always good, just so communication can happen. Also, I, like to keep grounded by doing check-ins throughout the scene, just so everybody's comfortable. And 2, I'm a big mindfucker, so if the person cannot verbalize, I know that usually that's a good thing. And if they're going non-verbal, which we did not explain, I'll explain later, that's more of a advanced term, then when they do verbalize, that usually means, probably should do a check-in at that time. They've come back to reality. Okay. Common nonverbal safe word is to drop an object. Talked about that. Okay. Tennis ball is great. It makes a noise and it doesn't really do damage. It's very light so people can hold on to it. I will say like a stress ball is also good. A racquetball. A little bit smaller, just not as good grip depending on what's going on. Sometimes your palms get sweaty. You could be in a stressful situation where you are in a predicament that you might need to concentrate a little bit much, and you don't always have control of what your hands are doing. I would just say also stress ball is also good because sometimes people need to squeeze and pull stuff. And if you already got something in your hand, you can squeeze very hard. That's always good. And when you drop it, it's like, oh, okay. Couldn't concentrate anymore. Okay, I got a few minutes here to go over 3 more. I'm halfway done. I'll just say consent is important for tops too. Let's just say that. Dominants and tops can have whatever it is. Left-sided / people. Tops. Dominants, masters, whatever it is, can have consent as well, and also they can have safe words. So if the top needs to stop a scene, they should be able to say a safe word as well and end the scene. That is 100% something that can happen. A top can have a safe word too. Let's say that right now one more time, just so everybody knows that is 100% a thing that can happen. Okay. Critiques. Let's see. Okay. A want, will, and won't list. Also good for soft limits and hard limits. But these are things that you actually want that are necessary. For me, biting of booty is something I need. Doesn't necessarily need to be hard, but a good nibble. If I have a partner that has an ass, it doesn't even need to be a super nice one, just needs a booty, I show interest in them by biting the booty. That is something I need. That is on my will list. But a won't list is not necessarily hard limits. There is a little bit of difference there. I really don't have a difference there. But there's just certain things that's just like icky. And that's the only real difference between a won't list and a hard limit. But yeah, the want and the will are the will could be like a safe soft limit list, but it doesn't necessarily have to do specifically with sexual activities or kinks necessarily, but definitely should check out what you would want in a relationship. I know some people have trouble with cuddling as well, so that would be a weird thing for me. They want all the different things, but it's just like, no cuddling afterwards, we go our separate ways. And it's like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah, that kind of thing. Okay, let's see here. One enthusiastically desires is a want list, a will list, willing to engage in under specific circumstances, and a won't list, what one is not willing to engage in under any circumstances. This list can serve as a foundation to negotiate consent for a scene. Can't be completed alone or with a they can be completed alone or with a prospective play partner. So yeah, I will say like inviting an extra party into the dynamic or relationship probably could be something in there, because it's not necessarily a soft limit. It's just like, oh, I would be interested in that if all the circumstances were in there. Okay, quickly, one last thing. Kink and BDSM are not intimate partner violence. So IPV, pattern of abuse behavior used by an intimate partner to gain and maintain power and control over the intimate partner. So I will say the difference between kink BDSM versus IPV is that it is a willing participant. Consent. That is the biggest thing. Informed consent. Personally responsible, informed, consensual kink. Personally responsible. You are informed as well. So along with rack, there's prick. And that is the thing that is different between IPV and kink BDSM. What a lot of people do not realize is that it is consensual. So you are consenting to this enthusiastically. Anything but an enthusiastic yes is a no, and consent is revoked. So big thing about IPV is that you're doing it on a non-consenting person. They have to do it whether they like it or not. I just want to point that out, okay? So that is why kink and BDSM is not IPV. While it may seem that one play partner is in kink scene has all the power and control, the performance of the dynamic has been carefully pre-negotiated with safety and pleasure in mind. There's the big difference. Aftercare should be both pre-negotiated and adjusted as needed in the moment. I will say that is a big thing when it comes to kink scenes. Aftercare is kind of paramount. there are times, and I have friends that don't do aftercare during a scene. I will say they're probably doing it themselves. That is just, I don't know. I don't want to judge people for that because everybody has their own kind of thing going on. But oh man, I'm a big fan of aftercare in general. I don't care if it's just good old quote unquote vanilla sex. There should be some kind of aftercare afterwards. And just to let y'all know, ain't no sex with me 100% vanilla. Even by the technical definition that I gave you. But yeah, to each their own. But yeah, aftercare. If you need aftercare, you should be saying that. That is something that is not really negotiable, non-negotiable for me. So if you are a person, not speaking about me specifically, just a person in general, and you need the aftercare, go out and get that aftercare. Don't let somebody guilt you into not doing it. If you need aftercare after a scene at any point in time, I'm saying any point in time after the scene, even if it's a light scene to you or to hard scene, whatever your definition of the scene is, and you need aftercare, go ahead and get you that aftercare. That is a red flag if the person is not into that. Oh, terrible. Okay, so that was it. That is your sexual sex ed class with your health teacher, Julius. The kink version, wish you never had. I hope you enjoyed it. I know for me, I wish I had that. Oh my God, I wish I would have had that. Like I said, consent would have been nice to know when I was in high school. Oh, this is funny, but it's not funny. It's kind of sad. Let's reform these sex ed bullshit. You know, some states in America don't even have sexual education. Whatever the bullshit they were pondering on people, which is ridiculous. Abstinence is not a form of sex education. Stupid. Oh, I could go on a rant on that as well, but I won't do that because I've run out of time. This is your jovial Julius, the host of Around the Kinky Campfire. New episodes, audio version on Thursdays, video version on Fridays most of the time, but check the YouTube for when those episodes drop. Be sure to like and comment and on the videos, or rate the videos if you're doing it like Spotify or iTunes or something like that. And yeah, definitely comment and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are not Around the Kinky Campfire. That is all for now. I'll speak to you, see you maybe next time. Hello. That's a wrap for this episode of the Around the Kinky Campfire podcast. We love having you by the fire, and we love to hear from you. Got a kinky question, a steamy story, or a topic you want us to cover? Slide into our DMs and send us a message at Around the Kinky Campfire, campfire with a K, at yahoo.com. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you're listening. Your support helps keep the flames burning and the conversations flowing. Follow us on Twitter, Kinky Campfire, campfire with a K, YouTube, Around the Kinky Campfire, campfire with a K, or Instagram, Campfire Kinksters, campfire with a K. To stay in the loop, join the community and keep the kink alive between episodes on Thursdays. Until next time, stay safe, stay sexy, and keep that fire burning.